Namaste everyone. Welcome to another episode of Nyano Diapers presents the 4th trimester. जहाँ हामी कुराकानी गर्नेछौँ with moms of all ages, all types, and we're going to discuss their journey of being a mother, of losing themselves, finding themselves again, raising babies. र babies मा पनि we're talking about different kinds of pregnancies. So this is your show where you can get all the information about being a mother, motherhood, parenting, and all things related. र आज पनि हामीसँग एउटा एकदमै fabulous guest हुनुहुन्छ हैन? Someone that we all know and we all look up to. I feel like she's been a name since forever. And jabo mero lagi personally, when I think of like mom figures, who I want to become when I become a little older and when my kids become older, this is the first name that comes to my mind. And this is by the way she's handled herself and everything, and her presence, her personality. I think everyone can learn so much from her, and it's my absolute pleasure and honor today to invite on this show our dearest Vidushi Rana, full name, but I call her Vidushi. So, hi Dee!
Hi!
How are you?
Good, thank you so much for that amazing introduction.
Well, I actually felt everything that I said because you're someone I really look up to, and I hope one day, मेरो mother-in-law पनि हुनुहुन्छ हैन? I also feel like, oh my God, what a dynamic personality. And then there's you. I look at you and I'm like, oh my God, I want to be her.
Oh my God,
what does she do? How does she live? What does she eat? What does she do to look the way she is, to maintain herself, the personality, aura, the charm and the positivity that you radiate? Like, how does it happen? मलाई कतिचोटि सोध्न मन चाहिँ हुन्थ्यो, but then I was like, how can you just ask that to someone? But today I can ask you, We have a platform like that where we can talk about all these things.
Thank you. Okay, now I'm blushing with all your compliments, but thank you so much.
Thank you for accepting our invitation and like coming here to this show, because I know for a fact that कति धेरै हाम्रो दर्शकहरूको लागि this is going to be a completely different perspective on how we look at a lot of things that I feel like as a society we need to unlearn and learn again, and who else better than you than to hear it from Selfcare when we talk about mothers and motherhood and all that. So, अहिलेको लागि चाहिँ first starting our first segment, which is called the Mommy Diaries, where we're going to do a lot of questions relating to motherhood and your own personal experiences and taboos and, the things that society has molded, हाम्रो head भित्र drilled, and how to change that and all that. सँग सरोकार राख्ने topicsमा कुराकानी गर्छौँ.
Messi as he snuck behind Mbappe. Flag might come up, was waiting. Galtier was hired. Messi, top of the around the year on year, 14 departures.
कसको पालो?
मेरो पालो.
But अब मेरो पालो.
Excuse me? हिजो त्यही त भने हैन? आज तिम्रो काम छ, भोलि मेरो काम छ. आज मेरो पालो.
But I'm home now. So मेरो पालो, please.
न्यानो पर्ने मेरो पालो.
न्यानो प्रिमियम बेबी डाइपर 12 घण्टाभन्दा बढी सोच्ने क्षमता भएको, विथ ब्रिदेबल कभर्स, सफ्ट र कम्फर्टेबल बबल टप शीटका साथ लिकेज हुन नदिन एन्टी लिक साइड कफ्स. यसरी अल राउन्ड प्रोटेक्सन भएको न्यानो डाइपरसँग फालोमा झगडा त हुने नै भयो.
कसको पालो?
न्यानो प्रिमियम बेबी डाइपर, अब कसको पालो?
Let's dive into your pregnancy experience first. धेरै वर्ष त भइसक्यो, but I'm sure it is that experience that people don't really forget, हैन? So यहाँको pregnancy journey त्यो टाइममा अहिले जस्तो त थिएन नि त त्यतिखेर टाइम, हैन?
कस्तो different time altogether.
How was it? How hard was it? Or how easy was it? How did you deal with everything त्यो बेलामा?
So Priyanka, thank you so much for inviting me to this show, and I had no idea what I was getting into. But your question is now, taking me down the memory lane. And this was like, I have 2 kids. Shivalika, she's 24 years old and she's in university doing a master's.
Who can tell that her daughter is 24 years old? Please explain. What is the safe way to not faint in this episode by looking at you? Please tell me.
And my son is 18 and he's just finished high school. So, it takes me back 24 years, when I think about my pregnancy. And I really don't know what I experienced because I was very young. I got married when I was 18, and when I was 21, I already had my daughter. So when I was 20, I was pregnant. So back in those days, now I look at you and I look at all the new moms, and you guys are so aware and you know exactly what to do and what not to do. And what you're feeling. Was it like a good feeling, a bad feeling? हुन्छ नि त्यो बेलामा त nothing like that,
Yeah.
and your only support system was your mother-in-law, your mom. That's all. And none of my friends were married, of course, back then. So I didn't have any friends who were mothers. So it was very new. I was very young, and so one good thing about being a mother when you're young, say you get back into shape and all of that. That was a problem when I had my second baby.
Okay.
So basically, whirlwind जस्तो कि के भइरहेछ नि थाहा छैन. I had my baby, and then there were a lot of people looking after her. But the thing that I remember is just looking at your baby for the first time. मान्छेले भन्छ नि, when you look at your baby, the way you feel, all of that. Okay, so I remember, like, I had a cesarean section, and it was at Om Nursing Home. And this was so त्यो म होस्टमा आउँदाखेरि there was a nurse, and she said, तपाईँको छोरी कस्तो नराम्री छ भन्यो कि होइन. अनि अब she was joking रहेछ. अब मलाई त कस्तो I felt so bad, यस्तो रुन मन लाग्यो होइन. आँखाभरि आँसु आएर ला मेरो छोरी कस्तो नराम्री छ भनेर. And then पछि my mom brought my daughter, and कस्तो you have such a beautiful little girl भनेर हेर्दा त यस्तो आँखाबाट आँसु आयो कि, किनभने मलाई त नर्सले चाहिँ त्यस्तो भनेको थियो होइन. I was also really young and innocent.
Dare she भन्नु
I
मन
know.
लाग्ने के.
And then
nice.
Instantly you fall in love with that little thing, because कसरी त्यो सबै माया आउँछ भन्ने कुरै थाहा, like you never, like, I mean, you're a mother, and you never know that you have so much love inside of you, because like for me it was a love marriage, so I thought I loved my husband the most. And then suddenly there's this little thing, and then you feel all your love towards that little baby. And then once you start breastfeeding, I breastfed my daughter for a year, and that was such a amazing moment, like the bond that I had with my daughter. So it took away a lot of my guilt of getting married too early, not going to university, not starting to be what I want, like what my parents wanted me to be.
So there were a lot of sacrifices.
A lot of sacrifices of getting married early, of having a little baby too early in life. But yeah, it all changes, and it's all a blessing now.
When you got pregnant, त्यतिखेर like pregnancy-लाई handle गर्ने त्यो do's and don'ts हुन्छ नि, जुन अहिलेसम्म चलिआएको छ नि त. बट अहिले चाहिँ अब रिसर्च इन्फर्मेसनले कति धेरै मम्सहरूले फलो गर्नु हुँदैन. लाइक अ लट अफ त्यो लजिक नभएको माइन्डसेट जुन जेनेरेसनबाट चलेर आएको छ नि. हाउ मच अफ द्याट डिड यु हेभ टु फलो? बिकज तपाईँले पनि लाइक यु सेड योर सपोर्ट सिस्टम वाज यर मदर इन ल एन्ड यर मदर. सो कति चिजहरू त्यतिखेर त म गर्दिनँ भन्ने आँट आउँदैन नि त. सो अहिले त हामीलाई आउँछ, बिकज हामीलाई ब्याकअप गर्ने इन्फर्मेसन रिसर्च छ नि त. सो इफ माई मदर or my mother-in-law, मेरो केसमा चाहिँ भएन. They never told me कि यस्तै गर्नुपर्छ भनेर. तर कति फ्यामिलीजमा त्यो हुन्छ नि त. हामीलाई थाहा छ, तँलाई थाहा छैन, सो हामीले भनेको गर भन्ने खालीको चलन छ नि त यहाँ. अनि a lot of the moms, यो सोमा आएर पनि they have expressed like how they cannot parent like how they want to, or they cannot do what they want with their baby, and it's always shadowed by चलिआएको कुरा हामीलाई थाहा छ त्यो भने. सो तपाईँको त्यो बेलामा त्यस्तो के चलनहरू थियो, which now when you look back you feel like, oh my god, like what were we doing खालीको, it was not even right रहेछ भनेर. And any of it that you feel like people are still doing right now that needs to stop, okay, when you're nursing a baby or taking care of a baby.
So मलाई त like when you're asking me this question, मैले यस्तो सोचे कि मलाई त I didn't even know what I was doing, and what I was doing was right or wrong भनेर होइन. अनि whatever I was told to do, I did that.
You would do, yeah.
Especially अब हाम्रो नेपालीहरूको सुत्केरी भएपछि होइन. I remember I looked so ugly in the photos when my मेरो first baby को first photos with my baby, सबै त्यो yellow कलरको कपडा बानेर अनि तेल लाएर होइन. त्यसपछि त्यो चौबन्दी चोलो र सुरुवाल लाएर. Imagine a 21-year-old girl, होइन, कस्तो plump, and I looked ugly throughout. I did not enjoy being a mom, or like I look at you guys and I'm like, wow, they can dress up so well. And I had to eat like 3 times a day. Puja khane parni, ras khanu parni. And the whole thing was about being healthy and producing enough milk to feed your baby. That was it. But I used to, मलाई solace चाहिँ के भने, I used to read a lot. So त्यो बेलामा फेरि of course you wouldn't get books. There was nothing like online, त्यस्तो पनि हुँदैन थियो. So there was this book which was like my Bible then. It was called एउटा चाहिँ What to Expect While You're Expecting भन्ने.
Even I read that book. Yeah? That book has been here since forever, I think. Yeah.
And What to Expect While Your Baby is 1 year old हुन्छ नि. So those were the books. That was the guideline. अनि of course we were both very new, both me and my husband. We didn't know what we were doing. अलिकति बच्चा बिरामी हुने बित्तिकै would rush to the doctor. हुन्छ नि, all those things. But with my second baby, which was after 6 years, things changed. We were more matured. We knew how to do things differently. But of course not like how you guys are doing it. Okay? It was still like very difficult back then. Whatever my mom said or whatever my mother-in-law said was like that's what we had to do. आफ्नो त्यो सोच गरेर ओ दिस इज हाउ आइ एम गोइङ टु रेज माई बेबी भन्ने नै थिएन कि
थिएन त्यतिखेर
यस्तो लगाइदिनुपर्छ बच्चालाई जाडो भयो हुन्छ नि गर्मी भयो भनेर फ्रक लगायो भने हुँदै हुँदैन छाती चिसो हुन्छ सो भोटोसुरा लगाइदिनु
पनि लाउनै पर्ने
त्यस्तो अनि अब घाममा तेल लगाइदिएर मेरो छोराको फोटोहरू त अहिले यस्तो काले फोटोहरू होइन अनि किन भन्दाखेरि होइन घाममा तेल लाउनै पर्ने भनेर 1 घन्टा त्यो घाममा छोपेर राख्ने अल द्याट अब इट्स सो अननेसेसरी बट आई डिड अल अफ द्याट
बिकज त्यतिखेर अब अर्को चोइस पनि त थिएन नि देयर वाज नो अदर रेफरेन्स सो डु यु फिल लाइक अहिलेको टाइममा आइसकेपछि चाहिँ थिङ्स हेभ चेन्ज्ड
Oh yeah, things have changed for so much, and it's so much better. And I feel really good seeing all these young mothers who know what they're getting into. Also because they're more matured, pani hola, they know, they understand, I know, and then they, I think, have a really nice bond with their kids. Because they read a lot, they know what they're getting into. जस्तो लाग्छ in-laws-हरुको पनि कुरा, parents-हरुको पनि कुरा, अनि अरूहरु society-को पनि, अनि so it was not just your child and you know, you had the whole
everybody's child.
Yeah, it's like the whole village taking care of your child भने जस्तो. So यो गर्नु हुँदैन, हुन्छ नि यो स्कुल हुँदैन, त्यस्तो हुन्थ्यो कि. Things have changed now for the better.
Yeah, I feel so. So now that यहाँले मेन्सन नै गरिहाल्नु भयो that your kids are like really grown now नि त होइन so ठुलो भइसक्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब I want to talk about teenage years. I think you're the first mom in our episode where we're talking about अलिकति older children होइन because once you're a mother I think you're always a mother जुन हामीले यो 4th trimester भनेको छ नि I kind of feel like the 4th trimester never ends actually. It's something that'll go on till you like forever, right? So सानो बेलाको concerns growing and all that is there. But I think अर्को biggest concern and मलाई पनि feel हुन्छ क्या अहिले जस्तो आइकालाई हेर्दाखेरि she's very strong headed and एकदमै strong personality छ उसको अहिलेदेखि उसलाई no भन्यो भने no कसैले बोक्न खोज्दा उसले no and she's very vocal के she's not even 2 so त्यो देख्दा अलिअलि छाँटकाँट थाहा हुन्छ नि त how she's going to be when she's going to be a little bigger so त्यस्तो फेज कसरी ह्यान्डल गर्नुभयो एन्ड अल्सो टु आवर अडियन्स वाट इज द बेस्ट वे टु ह्यान्डल इट वाइल यो किड्स आर ग्रोइङ अनि मलाई यो स्पेसली तपाईँसँग राख्न मन लागेको इज बिकज हाम्रो सोसाइटीमा आई फिल लाइक कस्तो छ भने पेरेन्ट्सले आफ्नो थट्स थोपार्छ क्या बच्चामा माई बच्चा हेज टु बी अ सर्टन वे हेज टु बिहेभ अ सर्टन वे जस्तो उसको ड्रिम्स एन्ड एम्बिसन्स हेज टु अलाइन विथ माइन्ड अझै पनि छ नि त कतिचोटि मेरो बच्चालाई म डक्टर बनाउँछु भन्ने खालको छ नि त एन्ड इन द प्रोसेस आई फिल लाइक वी डोन्ट ट्राई टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड अर गिभ स्पेस for their identities के उनीहरूको पनि त पर्सनालिटी होला चोइस होला so how much are we accepting of that and how important is that to understand your child their needs so यो parenting को कुराहरू के what is the right way to अब of course यही राइट हो भन्ने त हुँदैन होइन तर a good way where you acknowledge your child's needs also and put that first also so how did you do it and what are the tips that you want to give to moms right now
so parenting is a very very difficult journey होइन and I'm sure you agree with it like once your छोरी झन् ठुलो भएपछि so I think you also learn with your child and every child is different because I have two I know the difference between both of them like I'm blessed because both of them are like very good children so as teenagers dukha चाहिँ दिएन होइन but then the sacrifices that you have to make as a mother not sacrifice but like when my daughter was born when she was 3 years old I started working in Kumari Bank होइन so I had a good career going for me I was the branch manager I was then the brand manager all of that then I had my son अनि when so के अरे maternity leave त 3 months मात्रै पाउँछ होइन ब्याङ्कमा so 3 months पछि then I had to go back to work so छोरा भयो 3 months पछि I went back to work and then suddenly I found myself like every hour going and pumping milk and putting in the fridge and labeling number 1 number 2 गरेर and then sending the milk back home and बच्चालाई खान दिइरहेर for 1 month I worked like that and suddenly I felt like what the hell am I doing why am I doing this हुन्छ नि it's not necessary because I wanted to be with my child all the time and then leaking होइन and then suddenly you realize okay मेरो बच्चालाई भोकै छ भनेर and all that guilt so I just snapped I said okay I'm not going to work anymore so then I went home and then I sent my resignation letter to the bank saying I just want to be a stay-home mom and I was a stay-home mom for 10 years you know and that's a decision that I made I mean I just felt very not guilty but I just felt it was not right I felt like I had to give my time to my son because he and my daughter and they deserve it and they deserve it भन्दा पनि I deserved it okay, to be with them so 10 years yeah. So I was a stay-home mom and I like gave my 100% to both the children so I think त्यो motherly instinct यत्तिकै आउँछ जस्तो लाग्छ I was not like that but you know small things like when I'm talking to you I don't really like going to the kitchen or cooking or any of that होइन but छोरी भएपछि चाहिँ अब एकदमै कस्तो बिग डिल भएको थियो कि मलाई I would like every day I would go to the kitchen, sterilize the pressure cooker with hot water, make sure the jaulo is made right, sterilize the bhada again, sterilize the spoon and feed. So all that comes with being a mother, naturally. And I loved being a mother. I mean, I love being a mother now, but even those 10 years when I was home, and possibly when I went back to work, it was very difficult. And once both my children were away to boarding schools, that's when I then got back to my job. Okay? So I'm really grateful that I took that break.
So which means that you had a lot of time with them, which means बच्चाहरूको upbringingमा एकदम तपाईँको active hand थियो होइन. So let's talk about some of the do's and don'ts. के जस्तो अहिले पनि नेपालमा मात्रै भन्दिनँ म साउथ इस्ट एसियामा नै डिसिप्लिन गर्नको लागि या भ्याल्युज बिलिभ्स इन्स्टिङ गर्नको लागि बच्चाहरूलाई पिट्ने हात उठाउने एन्ड वेयर द फ्यामिली थिङ्स इज कम्प्लिटली ओके त्यो चलन अझै पनि छ नेपाली समाजमा पनि छ होइन. अनि सो यो कुराहरूमा गरौँ न, लाइक वाट इज द राइट वे यु थिङ्क that you can instill all these values, confidence bhayo, independence bhayo, making sure that your child communicates, all that. So how did you go about the process, and what is the healthy way to go about it? Jasto लाग्छ तपाईलाई?
So मलाई चाहिँ like I read a lot about anything, whether it's about parenting, about motherhood, all of that. And then me and my husband, we were like, we talk a lot about how to become good parents. We talk a lot in front of our children also. Okay, what is, like, we don't tell them, okay, Shivalika, you have to do that, or Adu, you have to do that. We discuss, like, let's say something like suicide. We talked about somebody's suicide. We won't talk to them, but we'll talk to each other saying, oh my God, that's such a bad way to, what must be going through the parents. We won't tell the children directly, but we'll talk. Okay? And we know that even if the kids are on the phone or whatever, they're listening.
Yeah.
So things like that. And of course, being a parent is difficult because najani pani you'll like compare your child, and then suddenly you'll have to take a step back and say that, okay, मैले compare गर्नु हुँदैन थियो भनेर, and then I'll just go hug that child and then say something good about him. So आफूलाई पनि I think we're learning every day. None of us are perfect. None of us are perfect parents. That's on, but for me, both my kids, like I said, I mean, they're good kids because I feel that I gave a lot of time to them. I would listen to them patiently when they'd come back from school. If they didn't want to talk to me, it was like, चित्त दुखेर पनि I would just keep quiet. Respect that. And whenever they wanted to talk. So my daughter, she is in university in New York, but every morning we talk for an hour at least. मलाई हतार भइसक्यो हुन्छ. She's like, Mamu, you have to listen to me. You have to listen to what I did the whole day भनेर. So and I love that bond between me and her. And my son is 18. Like, he's a Friday night. He was out till 6 o'clock in the morning. So he came home at 6. अब हाम्रो जमानामा त्यो गरेको भए त तेरो खुट्टा काटिदिन्छु भन्थ्यो होला नि त होइन. So now I have to go back home and I have to talk to him and telling him that this is your boundary. You can come back at 2, but don't make it 6 भन्नु पर्यो नि. So things like that.
Yeah, so you're drawing a line in between. I mean, respecting his choices as well. And I think that's important.
Yeah, that is
important. Let your kids be.
Yeah.
होइन. So यही एस्पेक्टमा अर्को पनि कुरा जोड्न चाहेँ, यही अबाउट किड्स एन्ड स्टफ हुन्छ नि. अब आजकल फाइनली we've started accepting, or we try, I don't know, लेखेर मात्रै हुन्छ कि people actually feel it कि I don't know, तर यो कुरा निस्किन थालेको छ to accept your child for who they are or who they want to be. So यही कुरामा चाहिँ I think your whole LGBTIQ community को, and it's a very global discussion also right now, like he, him, she, her and all that हुन्छ नि. How important do you think, or how ready do you think our society is to actually accept kids for who they are and to let them be who they want to be in terms of their sexual preference?
Again, I'm glad you asked this question because back in our days, it was like a taboo, I know. So, but now it's more accepting the sulaksaki because I have friends who have children like that, and then उनीहरूले encourage गरेको देख्दाखेरि नै I'm like, wow, that's how I should have done it to people who were close to me back then. तर त्यो बेलामा हामीलाई awareness चाहिँ थिएन नि. अब अहिले it's okay. It's okay भन्दा पनि it's most normal.
Yeah.
And I think Nepali society is quite open about it also. And I'm glad to see that.
So change आइरहेछ है.
एकदमै
आइरहेछ. I also feel like यो especially यो टपिकमा चाहिँ अरू जति कुरामा अलिकति behind भए पनि I think Southeast Asia मै one of the most accepting
is Nepal
countries मा पर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ नेपाल, and it's so beautiful to see that change. And like दिदी said, पहिलाको जमानामा हो so many पेरेन्ट्सहरू आजको दिनसम्म पनि I feel like अलिकति त्यही जेनेरेसनको पेरेन्ट्सलाई यो कुरा सोध्यो भने अलिकति हिचकिचाउनु हुन्छ होला, but I feel like scope चाहिँ छ के, we can talk our way and try to explain and stuff. झन् अहिलेको पेरेन्ट्स I feel they're more accepting and हुनु पनि पर्छ I think. you should not want
Of
to
course.
change your child. And if that's the kind of schooling that you've had, then I think there's some things that you need to unlearn
Right.
and learn, like,
Yeah,
you know.
you learn
new
from your
things.
children all the time.
Yes.
Just like
But you need
Priyanka,
to be
because-
willing also as parents.
Yeah, you have to be open and willing to learn, because they are teaching you so many things that, you know, and then they teach you more beautifully than you would have learned otherwise, okay?
Yeah.
When it's your own children.
Now, अघि तपाईँले भन्नुभयो नि about setting boundaries. You need to go back home today and
Yeah.
tell your son about that. So, त्यस्तो how many times do you think you've been put in a spot like that where, like, from what I'm gathering, the kind of pregnancy you had way back in the day, and मान्छेले भन्ने चिजहरू चाहिँ तपाईँले LGBTIQ को पनि भन्नुभयो, त्यतिखेर हामीलाई थाहै थिएन, we were not aware. So I think there was a struggle for you as well, नि त अहिले, to letting your kids be out there, and you're also learning a lot of things. So त्यस्तो boundariesहरू, disciplineहरूको कुरामा कतिचोटि you felt like you've also had to sit there and think, oh my god, how am I going to handle this? मेरो बच्चाले यस्तो गरिरहेछ, it's something new for you, नि त.
Yeah.
So त्यो कसरी handle गर्नुभयो? How did you think or know that, okay, this is the right thing to do? त्यो अलिकति share गरिदिनु भयो भने I think a lot of moms will find comfort about dealing with these things.
I think like talking about my son who's a teenager and he's just back from boarding school and he passed his IB exam, so obviously he's partying every night, you know. But again, boundaries भन्दाखेरि पनि I keep talking to him and tell him what is right and what is wrong.
Okay.
You know? And the one thing that we always tell both our children is don't ever do anything that, you know, if your parents find out, you'd be embarrassed. This to काम चाहिँ कहिले पनि नगर. Whether my son is also going to go to US now for college, and a lot of things that, like, what I do is talk to them all the time, you know. Chori चाहिँ listens to me and Chori talks back. Chora चाहिँ obviously he's a teenager and then he's not really...
He's in that stage.
Yeah, he's like, I understand, Ma, it's okay. But I keep talking to him, whether in the car or whether... I'm
so it's
sure
important.
He gets irritated.
You
It's
have to
very
keep
important,
talking
yeah.
as parents.
Yeah, as parents, you keep instilling good values. You keep telling, like for my son, I keep telling him how important it is to respect a woman. And he knows very well. You know? He knows that he has a sister at home, a grandmother, a mother. And like when he talks, alikati pani ke गरेर पनि, he knows that I'm going to snap at him. He knows how he has to respect women. He knows how he has to respect older people. He knows how he has to respect the staffs at home. You know? And I teach him all the time, okay? Whether it's gratitude, whether it's affirmations, whether it's like thanking God. He passed the IB exams and he was in London since he was 13. Okay? He went to a boarding school. So he's been in that part of the world.
So त्यही अनुसारको upbringingले affect गर्यो होला उसको lifestyle.
उसलाई यहाँको त गर्नु पर्यो नि त.
Yeah.
So I've already told him now that you've passed the exams. Now we're going to go and do temple run. We'll have to go to an orphanage. We'll have to do this. So, you know, you keep doing and teaching, अनि त्यो गर्यो भने उनीहरूको नै भ्याल्यु सिस्टममा नै इन्स्टल हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ कि, because they see and learn what you do, and you cannot just keep telling them, and as parents you keep fighting, or as parents you disrespect.
Like I feel like you are the biggest inspiration.
Yes.
चाहेर नचाहेर,
Yeah.
they'll learn everything
Yeah.
from you. So as parents, you also have to follow whatever
so like,
you're saying.
You know, when you're talking about that, like me and my husband, we never ever fight in front of our children. Okay?
Also something very important, I feel.
That we made a rule when Shivalika was born, and even we are upset, whatever, we'll just pretend that we're okay, and once we're in the room, we'll stash out. So, you know, we have to have some ground rules like that so that the children know that they're in a healthy, happy environment and everything's good for them.
Okay, it's so wonderful to hear all this, because it's म पनि सिकिरहेको छु कि म पनि बिस्तारै त्यो फेजमा पुग्छु नि त, अनि it's like really good. So effective communication with children. अघिदेखिको तपाईँको आन्सरमा मैले मोस्ट कुरा सुनेको is I keep talking हुन्छ नि. So what are the ways to do this keep talking effective ways? Because एउटै मात्र मेथड त जहिले पनि काम गर्दैन होला, because your children are also going through different phases of life. Teenage भन्यो, यो भन्यो, घरि cranky हुने होला. So what are effective ways of communication, you think, with kids?
So see, if I go and tell my son that, okay, because if I go back home now and if I say, okay, I need to talk to you, he'll be like, I know, Ma, I'm sorry, I came back later. You know? So I'll like go home and he'll be watching TV or he'll be watching a game, whatever. I'll just sit down with him, give him milkshake or whatever. And I'll say, you know, I was quite disappointed with you yesterday. Okay? I won't scold him. I won't say that, why did you do that? But I'll just say, you know, I didn't sleep well last night because I was just like calling you all the time, and
so the driver
worried, and you know, the driver पनि त बिचारा तिमीसँग बस्यो, and where do you think he slept भनेर हुन्छ नि. अब it's kind of a guilt हैन, and then he'll be like, yeah ma, I felt really bad भनेर भन्छ हैन. अनि त्यसपछि next time I know he'll be more careful, or he'll be like, okay, then I won't drink, I'll drive myself, I won't take the driver because then it's not good for him भने जस्तो. So I think त्यसरी अब if I just go and sit down with him and say okay I need to talk to you भन्यो भने चाहिँ हुँदैन हैन.
It'll go south this
Then it'll go south.
yeah.
So like just put them in another zone altogether and then ali it's a difficult thing Priyanka, because it's learning, you're learning too, and you don't know when your child will snap back at you.
Yeah, that's
you might
also
be
there.
thinking that you're doing the best thing. I know, like my son was like, Mamu, you're always like complaining, you're always disappointed with me, and I felt so bad because I thought I was being such a good mother. I thought I was doing all the right things, ticking all the right boxes, but then he didn't feel like that. And then later he came and hugged me and he was like, I'm so sorry, that's not what I meant. And then you suddenly melt, okay? So you keep having that with your children, though.
Yeah, so effective communication, I feel like it also means listening to your child also. Afule matra lash out गर्ने चाहिँ होइन, तर you give them also space.
No, you have to listen to them. They know whether or not you're listening to them. Okay, so when my son is talking to us and when my husband is on the phone, I keep telling him, please put the phone away, please put the phone away. And it's very difficult for him to put the phone away. But then we both put our phone away, like me and my son, and then we have a effective communication, okay? Because I don't want my son to be talking to me while I'm checking on my phone or my Instagram. Then he knows that, and then he'll do the same thing.
Yeah, so you don't want that to be there. So kahilekai, chahera pani when you're trying to do effective communication and you feel like everything is going right way ma, tara kahilekai त्यो backfire हुन्छ नि, त्यस्तो situation भएको छ तपाईलाई. You want the conversation to go a certain way, but it's not going and you're not aligning, or let's say the kid has taken a completely different turn, usko thoughts and processing ma, and is not trying to understand what you're trying to do, no matter how well you're doing it. So this is a situation like कसरी handle
this
गर्ने?
is a situation where I think you should just let it be, okay? Don't try too hard. Just try it another day, another moment, whatever. But त्यो जबरजस्ती गर्न चाहिँ हुँदैन जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई, especially with teenagers, because उनीहरूको आफ्नै hormones going on, उनीहरूको आफ्नै thought process, आफ्नै like so many things going on in their lives, in the social media and everywhere else in the schools, colleges. So you just have to let it be, okay?
Yeah. Give it
Just
space.
give them good values, instill good values onto them, and I think they'll do well.
Okay. So यहीसँग जोडेर like there's like so much I want to ask you about this whole thing, हैन? Has there been times when you've had a fight? हुन्छ होला नि त हैन बच्चाहरुसँग. So what is the longest time you've gone without speaking to them, or त्यस्तो कुनै instances छ भने?
So मेरो छोरी र म चाहिँ we are forever fighting, हैन? छोरा र म चाहिँ we don't fight at all, because छोरालाई चाहिँ मैले जे पनि गर भन्यो भने he'll say okay ma भन्छ, हैन? The thing is that he won't do it, but then he'll say okay, हैन? So that just makes me happy. मेरो छोरीलाई चाहिँ whenever I say ल यो गर है शिवालिका भन्यो भने she'll be like, why should I do it? Tell me why. हुन्छ नि, why should I not do it the other way, or whatever. तिमीले गरे यो भएन भन्यो भने why, अथवा तिमीले यस्तो बोल्न हुँदैन थियो भन्नु, but why हुन्छ नि. So with me and my daughter though, we always have that, but it's never like we've gone days without talking. त्यस्तो हैन, not even hours. We talk, but हुन्छ नि, there's a
so this is a situation like कसरी handle गर्ने त फेरि? Because I know a lot of parents को लागि the resort would be बच्चाले जवाफ फर्कायो भने कि त पिट्ने कि त ठुलठुलो स्वरले कराउने, and that is not really healthy नि त. We really want to change that बिस्तारै, हैन? So what is another effect?
जवाफ फैलाउने भने चाहिँ that's like a complete no for me, okay? So both my kids know that, that disrespect गर्न भएन.
Because जवाफ त फर्काउँछ, and sometimes it's not them जानी trying to do it, but it's because hormones, emotions, age and all that. So how to handle that? जवाफ फर्काएर मानौ.
So okay, luckily for me, they haven't really मसँग त्यस्तो गरेको छैन, but I've seen my friends and their kids like हुन्छ नि नराम्ररी नै भनिरहेको, and like I've seen my friend, so she just keeps quiet, के पनि भन्दैन त्यो बेलामा, हैन? अनि त्यसपछि पछि त्यो बच्चाले आफै रियलाइज गर्दो रहेछ कि that I hurt my mother भनेर, because he's been instilled good values नि त. So then the child will come around जस्तो लाग्छ. But पहिलादेखि नै you have to tell them that disrespect गर्ने र answer back चाहिँ गर्नै हुँदैन. Yes, you can have a healthy conversation, you can have a healthy debate, which like I have my arguments with my daughter all the time.
And you can completely not relate or not agree, but in a healthy way.
Yeah, but in a healthy way, but you cannot अरूलाई चाहिँ demean गरेर चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ हुँदैन है भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ they know. So I think you have to like set the boundaries पहिले के बच्चाहरूलाई, because at the end of the day they are not your friends ni, they are your child and they are your children and you are their parents. So जति I'm going to be a friend to my daughter भन्यो भने I'm never going to be her friend. I'm always going to be your mother, right?
Yeah.
So there will be a boundary like that.
And it's very important to set that boundary in a right healthy way. Let's talk about children and technology. I think तपाईको टाइमबाट अहिलेसम्ममा त you've seen such a vast change and growth in terms of technology and social media and apps and how phones and all this is so easily accessible to your children. How do you think that should be handled for parents? How did you handle it? I think kids were pretty grown, but still, no matter what age you are, a certain boundary I think त्यहाँ पनि हुनुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई हैन, with technology and all that, the do's and the don'ts and stuff. But अहिलेको generation, I feel like it's all over the place जस्तो लाग्छ के, with giving your kids phones or not, कहिले दिने दियो भने कति बेर दिने, like सानो बच्चाहरू पनि देखिरहेको हुन्छ म कार्टुन हेर्नुपर्ने खानाहरू खुवाउँदाखेरि and all that. So यसलाई कसरी ह्यान्डल गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ from your experience?
So maybe I'm like really old school होइन. So मलाई यो एकदमै स्ट्रेन्ज लाग्छ कि अहिलेको पेरेन्ट्सहरू चाहिँ like they are very particular about giving sugar or salt, not giving sugar and salt to the children, not giving phones or हुन्छ नि त्यो गरिरहेको होइन. अनि मलाई चाहिँ I feel that at the end of the day, like हुन्छ नि, they are going to get into that, right? Of course you have to monitor the timing and all of that. I just remembered a funny instance. Like I was in New York, मेरो कजनको घरमा, अनि उसले चाहिँ उसको छोरीलाई त्यो हाई चेयरमा राखेर, like the food looked like pathetic to me, होइन. It was avocado and rice and dal, whatever mix गरेर उसले खाँदैन खोजिरहेको थियो. And every day I would see my cousin trying to feed the daughter. 1 घन्टा लाग्यो त्यो बच्चा खाँदैन अनि मुखमा हाल्दैन नि, प्यात्त नि हाल्यो. अनि एक दिन चाहिँ he was feeding his daughter, and then म चाहिँ I just come back from a store, and then I came back and I said, oh, मेरो cousinलाई, I said, I forgot something in the store, like I forgot the whole packet. So he said, oh, don't worry, I'll go get it भने. And मैले, no, feed your daughter भने. And he was like, no, it'll just take me 5 minutes, I'll just go and pick it up and come back भने. I said, okay, you go, take your time, I'll feed your daughter भने. अनि तिमीले खाँदिनै सक्दैन भने कि, अनि मैले हुन्छ त जा न त, I'll see भने. And then first time होला त्यो बच्चालाई मैले feed गरेँ, like or other than her dad होइन. सो मैले त मजासँग मेरो मोबाइल दिइदिएँ अनि कार्टुन लगाइदिएँ होइन. अनि सुई खाँदा त्यो बच्चाले त यस्तो मजासँग खायो कि within like 2-3 minutes the whole bowl was over, because she didn't even realize, the poor baby, what was happening होइन. And then my cousin came back and I was like, देखिस् तैँले यस्तो खुवाउनै सक्दैनस् तिस तेरो छोरीलाई, मैले त एकैछिनमा खान्दिएँ भनेर भने कि. And he was like मुसु हाँसिरहेको थियो. I was like, हो तिमीलाई बच्चा रेज गर्नै आउँदैन भनेर होइन. अनि that this is how you should feed your baby भनेर. And he was like smiling, and I didn't realize for the longest time that he actually had a camera in the car, right? Okay,
so he was watching.
He was watching what I was doing, होइन. So I don't know. अहिले चाहिँ अब you guys feel like you need to control, and of course you should not give them too much त गर्न भएन, तर एकदमै रिस्ट्रेन गर्न पनि हुँदैन जस्तो लाग्छ कि.
No, मैले चाहिँ गरेन. Like there were so many, I still know so many moms who say 2 years someone no screen time is होइन. मैले चाहिँ त्यो गरेन. I think Priyanka right now is in a phase that she knows if she wants to watch cartoons, it's available anytime she can watch it. So उसले त्यस्तो धेरै खोज्दैन कि. I think the minute I feel like the minute you put like the barrier नि, that's when they want it so much more, okay? And I know my friends जसले चाहिँ 2 वर्षसम्म देखाउँदै देखाएन, and then once देखायो, there was no way you could get that kid off of the TV.
You're right.
उठेर लयो कि tantrums दिने and all that. So like you said, I also believe in that healthy balance.
Healthy balance.
अनि यो sugar salt को पनि मैले त 6 months हुँदै आयंकाको एउटा mini like halfy birthday मनाएको थिएँ कि, like she's half a year भनेर. अनि त्यतिखेर मैले उसलाई, of course I made sure the cake was sugar free and all, तर मैले खुवाइदिएँ के cake cream पार्टहरू. अनि त्यसको लागि पनि मलाई कति कमेन्ट्सहरू आएको थियो कि, लाइक कस्तो 6 महिनामै केक खुवाइदिएको एन्ड अल द्याट. एन्ड आई वाज लाइक, इट्स नट लाइक आइ एम गिभिङ हर द होल केक, नो, लाइक इट द होल थिङ भनेर. तर म पनि आई बिलिभ इन द्याट मोडरेसन जस्तो लाग्छ कि, एन्ड द्याट्स इम्पोर्टेन्ट.
यु राइट. अब तिमीले चाहिँ टकिङ अबाउट सुगर फर योर बेबी बिकज शी इज जस्ट लेस देन 2 years old होइन. बट लाइक इभन विथ ड्रिङ्किङ के फर टिनेजर्स, लाइक सो हाम्रो जमानामा त ड्रिङ्क गऱ्यो भने त द्याट वाज लाइक अ ट्याबु, ओहो खत्तमै भयो होइन. सी इज कम होम ड्रङ्क भनेपछि द्याट्स लाइक द एन्ड अफ इट. तर विथ माई किड्स चाहिँ एन्ड स्पेसली मेरो छोरा त झन्, ही स्टडीड इन अ बोर्डिङ स्कुल इन इङ्ल्यान्ड. सो त्यहाँ त वेन ही वाज 15 आई गट अ लेटर फ्रम स्कुल सेइङ द्याट विल बी सर्भिङ वाइन विथ like Italian food, whatever, beer with Indian food, and I hope we don't have any religious problems, whatever. First I wanted to write, no way my son cannot drink any of that till he's 21 भन्नु मन लाग्थ्यो. Then I realized that, you know, let him drink, but maybe if he can drink in moderation, like 1 glass of wine with whatever Italian food or 1 glass of beer with Indian food, खायो भने then he won't be हामी जस्तो crazy when you start
actually
drinking. Then,
yeah, that's very true.
So now he drinks, but he controls his drinks. He knows exactly, and he's like, okay, ma, I drank like 10 days back and I just want to take a break for a week or 10 days, whatever. And then he's very careful about how to drink, versus his other friends who were not allowed to drink at all, and suddenly like एकैचोटि खान पाउँदाखेरि धेरै ड्रिङ्क गर्छ कि. So same with sugar and also.
Yeah.
So boundary गरेर बरु I think it's okay to do everything in moderation in life.
Yeah, so I think with technology पनि
with technology also
thing.
it's the same
also
thing.
I feel like restrict, take completely नगर्ने लाइक कोही कोही हुन्छ नि यति वर्षसम्म फोन दिन्न कार्टुन हेर्न दिन्न I'll not let you have phones and stuff. So I feel like त्यो चाहिँ अलिकति एक्सट्रिम हो जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई
You
पनि
cannot let
personally.
technology take you over, but that is there. What can you do, I know?
Yeah.
That's the
So
future.
let's get back to how gorgeous you look.
Thank
That's another
you.
thing I really wanted to talk about. So how is it that over the years, you've maintained yourself? And by maintain, I'm just not talking about, oh, you have to be skinny, look a certain way, too, just with everything, okay? Like your mental fitness, health, body, looking a certain way. Because, of course, everybody wants to look good, Nita. That doesn't necessarily have to be skinny. But finding the best version of yourself, despite being a mom and having responsibilities and kids and all that. How did you go about that? How was that journey?
So again, छोरी पाउँदाखेरि त I had no idea. I was so young, होइन के हो पनि थाहा थिएन, and I was back in shape immediately, so it was not a problem. When I had my son 6 years after that, then I realized that कस्तो मोटाको जिउ पनि नघट्या जस्तो. Then that's the time I joined the gym. And then, so it's been 18 years that I've been going to the gym, on and off, of course. I mean, I try to go there at least thrice a week, but that doesn't really happen. Other than that, from past, I think 5-6 years, I do yoga 3 times a day. As you start aging, I think yoga is a really good way to stay in shape and form. Food, I don't restrict myself to anything at all because I'm a big foodie and I love food.
That's so nice to hear.
People don't believe that I eat, and only my close friends who see that. And for John, and I'm an unhealthy eater, not even a healthy eater.
I would never expect that. I thought you were like this tip-top healthy.
No.
I don't eat carbs, I don't eat sugar kind
not
of a person.
at all. I'll sit down with a packet of Haldiram bhujia and chips and gobble it up and then have like a mango milkshake on the side. No, not at all. I'm such a big foodie. And म त्यो no carb and no कुनी के भए त म बुझ्दै बुझ्दिनँ. I mean, you should enjoy your life. But to work out.
तर लिमिट गरेर खानुहुन्छ होला नि त. I mean, कि त्यो पनि छैन?
No.
Oh, wow. So then how do you look like this? It's only workout and exercise and yoga and...
I think it's genes. I don't know. Genetic. My
that also plays a very big
because
part.
मैले यस्तरी खाए अनुसारको त I should have put on a lot of weight.
But then how important do you think this is? Now, this is for all the moms. And कतिचोटि हामी देख्छौँ कि after you have baby, for so many women, I think society पनि त्यस्तै pressure हालिदिन्छ. And you also eventually start thinking like that, कि your life is over खाली. Okay? I've seen that and it's so sad to see that. तर अब my life has no purpose, I have no dreams, ambitions. अब यही हो भनेर भ्यात्त पर्ने त्यो नचाहँदै पनि. And you accept it as reality. के यस्तै हुनु पर्ने हो भन्ने. And we really want to change that. Not because we think that's not okay. If that's what you want to do, that's also fine. But that should not be your only resort.
No, that's not okay at all. Yeah. Self-love is the most important, I think. You should, we all are learning about self-love, and हाम्रो बेलामा चाहिँ, oh, you should love others, you should love your children, your husband, your in-laws. That is more important. Caring about yourself is the last thing that you should do. But now things have changed, right? And it has to be like that, because only if you're healthy, only if you're perfect, you'll be able to take care of others. Like somebody once gave an example, like plane ma, when you're flying, the air hostess slip if the oxygen level drops, then put the mask on yourself and then on your child. They don't say, oh, put it on your child first and then. So as long as you're healthy and happy and you're in the best form, you'll be able to take care of your family and your loved ones. Okay? So please to all the mothers, please take care of yourself, because you are the most important. I mean, you are the most important. Okay? Then comes your husband, your children, your family, other things. So you have to take care of yourself. Just because I said that I don't eat healthy, that's the wrong thing. You have to eat healthy. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of how you look, how you talk, because all that you have, even your children are looking at you, Nita.
Yeah.
I know. So I think it's very important to look after yourself, Tassalaksa.
Okay, so someone once said, when she mothered her own way, she mothered the best way. So I just want to discuss this. Okay? Is there a certain way that you have to be a mother, or certain things that you have to do this to Laksaki? What do you think?
No.
Is there a definition of a good mom, or say you become the best mom?
I don't think there's a best. That whatever you rephrase.
When she mothered her own way, she mothered the best way.
I think that's it. When she mothers her way, she mothers the best way. Because हामी सबैजना first time mothers we don't know what it is. And third time, like I remember, त्यो बच्चाहरू सानो छोरी पनि सानो हुँदाखेरि होल डे my mother-in-law would be like यस्तो गर्नुपर्छ, my mom would be यस्तो गर्नुपर्छ, my sister-in-law would come यो गर्नुपर्छ, यो गर्नुपर्छ, यो गर्नुपर्छ. The whole day the baby was not mine. Okay? At night when I would just cuddle with her and then I would feed her and I would just cuddle with her and I would read out stories to her, that was my special moment with my child, you know. But I couldn't raise her the way I wanted to because there were so many other people involved and they were all doing the best for her, of course. But motherलाई नै instinct आउँछ जस्तो लाग्छ कि what is the best for, because the way I'm raising my child and the way my friend is raising her child is completely different, you know. That's her version and this is my version. I think I'm doing the best in whatever capacity.
Yeah.
So the joy of motherhood is like is I think underrated. कि हामीले लाइक मलाई अचम्म लाग्छ कि हुन्छ नि मान्छेहरूले मैले चाहिँ मेरो बच्चालाई यस्तो 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 गरेँ अनि माई बच्चा डिन्ट गिभ ब्याक टु मी भन्छ नि सबैजनाले. बट आई फिल द्याट हामीले यस्तो बच्चालाई गरिरहेछ, आइएम स्योर मेरो बच्चाले भोलि मलाई के गर्छ आई डोन्ट नो, बट मैले गरेको त आई एम इन्जोइङ इट नि त.
You're not doing it to get like a return gift or something.
Yeah. So I'm doing it because it makes me happy.
Yeah.
Now tomorrow if he or she's not going to look after me like I did, maybe they don't enjoy it. They don't get joy out of it all. You know, so
that's such a beautiful way to put it.
मलाई चाहिँ त्यस्तो लाग्छ कि जहिले पनि मैले कस्तो गरेँ मेरो छोरीले मलाई यस्तो गर्यो भन्छ नि, but didn't you enjoy while you were doing it for your daughter? Right? Every moment, every minute of it नि. Parent like motherhood is such a beautiful journey जस्तो लाग्छ कि it just makes you complete, and motherhood is that the unconditional love is the only thing that you have with your child.
It's such a beautiful thought. Okay, with that thought, we're ending our first segment and we move on to our next segment, which is called the Nyano Rapid Fire. I'm just going to ask you some fun questions, just an attempt to get to know you better. Right?
Okay.
If you had a superpower to make parenting easier during your days, and what do you think it should have been for you personally?
I wish I could have done things my way.
Okay. I'm sure looking at you and the strong, fierce personality that you are, I'm sure it must have been really hard to like not get your way and do things your way. Okay. What was your and hubby's reaction, if you remember, when you guys found out that you were pregnant and you were both so young? What was the first reaction?
Ecstatic. We were like, oh my, so we were both madly in love with each other, and that again back in those days, biha nai garnu parne थियो कि. हैन, so there was no other way, and then having a baby meant that we were making something like both of us go love bhaneko जस्तो. So it was very beautiful.
Okay, so what are some of the things that you miss about your children? के उनीहरुको toddler stage ma, infant stage ma?
Okay,
the
fact
that you
that
miss.
they were like completely dependent on me, our cuddles at night, our kisses, like I would just cuddle my son and like read out stories to them, read out stories to him and just talk about his school. Now he won't do that. He's like 5'10", and I have to literally beg, and I'm like, Baba Masung, please boss, can you give me a hug, and can I just sit with you? And he's like, okay ma, I'll hug you. And hug garcha, and 1 minute, 2 minutes, his friends will be calling and whatever, and okay, and I really miss those days when they were.
So is that hard? मेरो पनि त्यो fear छ के.
It is.
Like, you know how अहिले Anka is always running after me. Mamu buishi भन्छ, mamu kisi भन्छ. Because one day that'll stop, no? And I know, okay. How did you handle that when it stopped? Like सुरुमा.
तिम्रो छोरीको कुराहरु त मैले ठ्याक्क सम्झे. मेरो छोरा स्कुल जाँदाखेरि I would go and drop him every day to school, हैन. So he started going to school when he was 3 years old, and जहिले पनि I would go and उसको हात समात्दै जाने. And suddenly, I think when he was 6 years or whatever, the British school भित्र ठ्याक्क छिर्ने बित्तिकै I was holding his hand and he just left my hand. मैले फेरि हात समाते, फेरि छोड्यो हैन. अनि मैले बाबा why you leaving my hand भने त त्यसो उसलाई त एकदम लाज लाग्छ कि मामु आएर उसको हात समाते उसको साथीहरुको अगाडि. So from that, and the next day he was like, can you just drop me outside the gate? You don't have to come inside. I was so hurt. यस्तो चित्त थियो हैन. But that'll happen and you have to just get used to it.
I don't think I'm going to be ready for that.
They will.
Yeah. But then it's okay, right?
It's a part of growing up.
Part of growing up. Yeah, okay. So did you know about Nyano Diapers as a banda agadi? Honest answers. You don't have to pretend. It's completely fine.
No, diapers भनेको नै मेरो like it's a big thing, because when my daughter was born, I like I was sharing with you, हामीलाई चाहिँ diaper लगाइदिनै हुँदैन भन्थे कि बच्चाको खुट्टा बाङ्गिन्छ, त्यसले गर्दा चाहिँ tons and tons of nappies पटायो राख्यो नापी अनि त्यसपछि एकैछिनमा सु गऱ्यो धुने होइन एन्ड आई केप्ट वन्डरिङ किन डायपर लाउनु नदिनु होला द्याट्स सच अ गेम चेन्जर भनेर होइन राति चाहिँ लुकाइ बाहिरबाट ल्याउनु पर्थ्यो त्यो बेलामा डायपर पनि नेपालमा पाउँदैन थियो बाहिरबाट लाएर डायपर लगाइदिएपछि अनि रातभरि आई कुड ह्याभ अ गुड नाइट स्लिप नि एन्ड बिहान उठेपछि फेरि जहिले पनि हेर डायपर लगाइदियो बच्चा खुट्टा बाङ्गो भयो भन्थ्यो कि एन्ड नाउ आई एम रियली ह्याप्पी द्याट दिस होल थिङ इज चेन्ज एन्ड नेपालमै पनि देव स्टार्टेड मेकिङ डायपर्स एन्ड it is a lifesaver actually for all the mothers.
So Nyano Diapers say it's made in Nepal, you know, and I'm associated with the brand as well. So not saying this just because I'm with the brand, because Paila pani I've endorsed other diaper brands as well and not really enjoyed the experience, But with Nyano say I've really actually enjoyed the experience. It's actually a good diaper. Something that मैले actually नै आइकाला लगाइदिन्छु के not just because I'm with the brand and stuff. So I just wanted to put the information out there for people who think because दिमागमा आउन सक्छ नि त.
And I love the name also.
नेपाली brand हो सो राम्रो हुँदैन होला भनेर भन्न सक्ने. And who better than you to just completely make sure that it's a false statement because Gold Star, come on guys, one of the best, most comfortable shoes I think. म त अति नै लगाउँछु होइन. So नेपाली brands पनि राम्रो हुन्छ. सबै नहोला तर त्यो भागा दौडीमा चाहिँ आई थिङ्क एउटा डायपर ब्रान्ड आएको छ विच इज एक्चुली गुड एन्ड इफ यु हेभन गिभन इट अ ट्राई यट आई थिङ्क यु सुड अनबायस्ड वेमा जस्ट ट्राई गर्नु एन्ड यु क्यान जस्ट डिसाइड फर यर सेल्फ मात्रै भन्न चाहन्थे थिएँ ओके what is one activity that you do आजको टाइममा सम्म पनि होइन to make sure that the bond because it's very important and I feel like parents also need to make that extra effort to make sure that the bond is there automatic त हुँदैन नि त just because you give birth
you have to keep working on it
so what is one activity that you love to do with your kids that keeps that bond alive जस्तो लाग्छ
so like I told you both my children are away होइन they're not in Nepal so one thing चाहिँ they know that they have to call me every day
okay
अनि even if like उनीहरू एकदमै बिजी भयो भने छोराले he had to at least send me a message saying that you know I'm okay भनेर so that's very important जस्तो लाग्छ with my daughter I said I talk to her every day for an hour with my son maybe like 2 minutes a day but I do have to have that conversation okay because I don't like that bond that you're talking about you have to keep on working on it and त्यो टाढा भइरह्यो भने बिर्सिन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ
okay so यसमा मैले रोकेँ although it's rapid fire but again I felt like there's something that I could get more information out होइन हामी यो जुन कुरा भन्छौँ नि bond like सानोमा त अब बच्चा डिपेन्डेन्ट नै हुन्छ so obviously there's a very strong bond but ठुलो हुँदै गइसकेपछि बच्चाहरूको पनि आफ्नै पर्सनालिटी लाइफस्टाइलहरू हुन्छ and then but you still want that bond a lot of the times I see familiesमा that you always blame the kid के बच्चा त ठुलो भयो वास्ता पनि गर्दैन घर पनि आउँदैन फोन पनि के पनि गर्दैन भनेर हाउ मच रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी डु यु थिङ्क पेरेन्ट्स अल्सो निड टु टेक लाइक इन मेकिङ स्योर द्याट डजन्ट ह्यापन बिकज हामी इजिली बच्चालाई मात्रै ब्लेम गर्छौँ क्या मैले देखेको अहिलेसम्ममा चाहिँ यत्रो हुर्कायो बढायो यत्रो गरेँ मैले आजकल हेर न फोन पनि गर्दैन घरबाट बाहिर गयो भने 3-4 दिनसम्म आउँदैन सो त्यसमा अलिकति आई वान्ट डाइभ डिप इन्टु इट कि कति चाहिँ पेरेन्ट्सको पनि रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी हो टु मेक स्योर द्याट योर किड बच्चालाई पनि त त्यो बन्ड बनाउन मन हुनु पर्यो नि त सो आई थिङ्क इट डिल्स विथ सो मेनी लेभल्स के लाइक is your house toxic? कति धेरै चिज हुन्छ यसमा अलिकति कुरा गरौँ
if your house is toxic your child will not want to come back ni and if you're going to pass like such comments but obviously your child doesn't want to come back हैन तिम्रो बच्चा will come back to you only if he feels that it's a nice warm environment space हो नि हैन it takes two to tango भन्छ नि त्यही हो I think it's both ways 50-50 parents also have to make it like really comfortable for the child and the child also should feel comfortable with the parents हैन again non judgmental हुनु पर्यो मन परि भनिरहनु भएन आफ्नो बच्चालाई त्यसपछि give them space हुन्छ नि a lot of things of course it's difficult for us also being parents because we also want our children to be around us all the time but maybe unknowingly we're also like टाढा पारिरहेको छ कि आफ्नो बच्चालाई by हुन्छ नि नचाहिने कमेन्टहरू
गर्ने जज गर्ने हैन अनि wanting them to be a certain way त्यस्तोहरू हुन सक्छ
so basically don't expect too much out of them त्यो चाहिँ I think is very important and that I think is changing now with the parents I think they're more aware and they know what they should do हैन and just त्यो चाहिँ it's very important I feel
Alright, so while raising 2 of your kids, the raising भन्नाले आजको दिनसम्म भन्न चाहन्छु not just when they were kids, who was the more difficult baby जस्तो लाग्यो? Difficult as in extreme भन्न खोजेको होइन तर अलिकति हुन्छ नि रेज गर्न ओपिनियन्सहरू स्ट्रङ हेडेड अलिकति गाह्रो क्लास धेरै हुने टाइपको
मेरो केसमा चाहिँ सो मेरो र छोरी र अमीर इज लाइक माई हस्बेन्ड एन्ड माई डटर आर लाइक वान टिम होइन एन्ड मी एन्ड माई सन आर वान टिम नट द्याट वी वान्ट इट लाइक द्याट बट somehow it's like that कि त्यो ग्रह भन्छ नि त्यस्तो छ होइन मेरो छोराले जे गरे पनि whatever गरे भने पनि I just melt He's like my absolute joy.
Oh.
But छोरीसँग चाहिँ मेरो यति रिफ्राफ भइरहेको हुन्छ होइन. And then, but with my husband, like in the morning, because I was getting ready to come to your show, and Shivalika and Amir were on the phone for like 2 hours. Like, which father and daughter will do that, you know? So they have a very strong bond. उनीहरूको मेरो छोराको एकदमै like we have that bond. But answering your question, luckily for me, both were not difficult children, both good kids, and both are doing well for themselves. But riff-raff with daughter all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Touch with none with my son yet.
All right. So what is your favorite self-care activity? What do you like to do the most for self-care?
For self-care. So COVID, one thing I learned was to meditate, you know, because I'm like, I'm an overthinker, and ekdam negative thoughts are आइरहन्छ कि मलाई, which I know is toxic. I know which it's bad. तर हुन्छ नि मान्छेले oh you keep thinking negative, you're toxic. Toxic thoughts are आइरहन्छ, त्यो थिङ्क गऱ्यो भने झन् नराम्रो हुन्छ भन्यो नि, ला झन् नराम्रो हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्ने होइन. So the 2 years of COVID-मा चाहिँ every day I learned how to meditate कि.
Okay.
So and that's been such a calming thing for me. So nowadays मलाई अब अलिकति stress भयो कि tension भयो कि I just put all the lights off and then just put very nice music I have for you, put my salt lamp on, and then I just like meditate, and it's like a bliss for me.
And
that's
it's brought positive changes to you. You feel it. Okay.
It's an ongoing process. It's not that I've changed, but it just brings happiness for that, at least that time.
Okay, so after children, what do you think your son or your daughter, a strong trait that they got from you, just laksa, and a strong trait that they got from Binazu, from your husband, just laksa?
So strong trait भन्दा पनि my daughter is like an exact replica of my husband, and my son is a lot like me, you know?
Okay.
And it's amusing to see that, okay?
Like a lot like you, भन्नाले resemblance in features, कि like personality.
No, personality or pani.
Oh, okay.
So she's more like a dad, and she's like her daddy's little girl, you know? Chora is like me. So yeah, so then I think that's the reason I can relate to him more, and he can relate to her better.
Okay.
So त्यो पनि अचम्मै हुँदो रहेछ कि genes भने पनि.
So what is your forever go-to mom hack? Do you have any as a mom?
Not really. I have a lot of friends who are moms, cousins, I know, and then like I said, I read a lot. So I'm constantly learning and growing as a mother, because I don't think there's one right hack or right formula to get it right. Because you don't know what is going to work between you and your child, or how your child is. So you have to just continue to learn and grow.
And it's a never-ending journey.
Yeah, it is a never-ending journey.
Yeah.
But it's a joyful journey. It's a joyride.
It is. Okay, if you could describe motherhood in just one word, what would that word be?
Blissful.
All right, so that brings us an end to the rapid fire round. And next we have another segment called Nyano Prasanga. So let's talk about how has motherhood changed you, Laksa? You as a person before being a mom, and you in all these years, do you think you've become a better person after being a mother?
Yes, definitely.
In what ways? What do you think has changed?
It's changed me completely, because like I said, I got married when I was 18, straight out of high school, and then I was a buari, which is another journey, and which is another story.
We need another podcast for that.
Yes, that was another thing. But after being a mother, the things that I've been a mom for most of my life now. I know, like from 21 till now I'm 47, so I've just been a mom, and it's a constantly learning and growing. And it's changed me because now I listen better. I am non-judgmental. Children are forever teaching me. A simple thing like when I'm walking with my son, whatever, he'll be like, Mom, you should not be looking at that person. So that's the new thing.
Oh yeah, that you don't make them uncomfortable and stare and make them
my kids will be like, you cannot do that, you cannot body shame. So you're constantly learning. And it's such a good thing. I mean, the way we grew up and how the kids are so aware these days, and they teach you all the time. So I love this journey.
All right, so I think that was so nice to hear what you just said, Vinsani, that as a mother, you'll also have to learn so much from your kids. And I think a lot of parents have not yet realized that. जस्तो लाग्छ कि मै मात्रै सही हुँ भन्ने त्यो मानसिकता अझै पनि छ, which is slowly changing. And I hope it झन् change आओस् यो सोसाइटीमा त्यो एस्पेक्टबाट चाहिँ. As much as you can teach, त्यति नै I think you can learn as well, and you should be open to that. So how has your relationship with your husband changed in the process of raising 2 kids, and how healthy it is to make sure that that relationship is still the top priority because first there were you two and then came the kids नि त I think कतिचोटि केसेसमा त्यो रिलेसनसिप हराउँदो रहेछ क्या मैले देखेको एक्जाम्पल्सहरू you kind of think that okay only your kids are your life and then you don't put much attention to that romance or that spark and that's really important and it's a new term पनि क्या नेपालमा हामीलाई पहिला पहिला आमाहरूलाई त्यो सिकाइँदैन थियो नि त कि okay you've had babies तर ठिकै छ है you need to go back and have sex भन्ने मान्छे कतिजना छ you hardly ever talk about it so how important is that and how has your equation evolved and changed in the years?
It's very important. Like you said, your husband, like your partner is the most important. Actually, kids come after that, so that, and like every relationship, you have to keep working on each and every relationship, whether it's with your mother, your father, your friend, your daughter, with your husband. Ani tara your children just bring your parents closer जस्तो लाग्छ कि because a child is a part of you walking outside your womb जस्तो लाग्छ हैन मलाई चाहिँ. So I mean it's a part of both you and your husband Nita, or your partner. So then that child is so special because it's a part of both of you. So that becomes a responsibility. And I don't know if I put it well. तर त्यो भएपछि husband or wife को bond it's very strong. Having said that, of course, yes, like you said, there are a lot of mothers who give their 100% to their children. And like a husband or wife ko relationships बिग्रेको. I've seen a lot of my friends go also. Of course, that shouldn't be a case because then there's no point at all. So together you should raise a good family. Okay? Together you should raise good children.
So you feel like it's as important for a husband and a father to be there in the process as it is for a mother.
Right? And they are nowadays. Nowadays, dads are very involved me. So it's really nice and refreshing to see that.
Okay, so our last question before we end it, because you have all this experience and you've handled things your own way, kati bigna badaharu ayo hola, but still you managed to do it. I just want you to address the new moms or going to be moms about this journey and what to look forward to. Just your kind words to help them get through this. Sitai.
Okay, for me, personally, I can say that being a mother has been the most rewarding thing. And like I said, it's a bliss. Well, yes, go have children, have your little babies and enjoy the process and learn and grow with them. I mean, they're going to teach you so much more than what you've learned in your life. So I think motherhood is the most beautiful journey. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I think that was so beautiful hearing from you. The entire episode was. I think मैले पनि as a new mom, I got to learn so many things which I hope to apply in my life as Anka is growing. But thank you so much for this beautiful episode and making time for us. Zanubanda Agari, we have Nyano Koseli for you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you
so much for having me and taking me down the memory lane.
And also, your kids are grown, but then like I said, we'd really love for you to give this to a loved one.
Okay,
so that they can try a diaper that is made in Nepal and that's actually good.
All right. I always endorse everything that's made in Nepal.
I know. You do of all the people. So, ma talai raktinchu when we do our closing. So, thank you again, Dee, so much. I hope you enjoyed also being here.
I did. It was really nice talking to you, Priyanka. And I love what you're doing with your baby. I see snippets of it on social media. And I think you're doing beautifully. And all the best to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you again, Dee, for your time. And I had a lovely time. I'm sure our audience is going to love it too. So, thank you everybody for tuning in today. We had such a beautiful episode, and like always, we'd want to say thank you for all your love and support that you've been giving us. So stay tuned for our next episode. See you guys. Bye.